good day, and I welcome you all to this show. My name is Chantell, a proud member of the Zaio team, and I'm very excited to launch this platform because this is where we get to know our tech gurus or our tech inspos. Remember, Zaio is launching, so you need to register in order to avoid disappointment. It's only 200 a month. If you can afford a Netflix subscription, McD every now and again, you can definitely afford our education system. Now, here I have Basheer Phiri. He's a final year student at the University of Cape Town. He is doing financial accounting, but somehow he has managed to learn how to code. So far, he has coded 6 apps and he has founded 4 companies. 4 and he has coded all of those apps himself. I am very excited to welcome him into the show. Bash, how are you doing?
Hey Chantell, I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us about yourself. Who is Bash and what does he do?
All right, thanks for that, Chantell.
Yeah.
All right, my name is Basheer, but I'm more widely known as Bash. And as Chantell mentioned, I am a final year accounting student at the University of Cape Town. But outside of my studies, I'm a lot of things. I'm an entrepreneur and a founder. I am a software developer. I'm a mentor and a teacher, and I'm a huge tech enthusiast. And over the past few years, I've founded multiple companies, and I've learned a lot from those experiences. I failed a lot, and I've learned from those things as well. And the great thing is that I've been able to build all the software all the tech for the companies myself, and that has been a great learning opportunity for me.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's in a nutshell who I am.
Amazing. So to someone who does not know coding, software developers and everything, how would you explain coding and software? Like, how would you describe it?
So coding is a way of basically building something that makes our life easier. Before there was tech and software, we needed to do a lot of things on our own. But once computers came into existence, we're able to tell computers what to do. And they were able to do those things for us. So coding is basically the set of instructions we give computers so that they're able to do things for us. For example, right now we are on Zoom, and this is only possible because this was coded. Somebody instructed the computer to open the video, to start recording, to listen to what I'm saying right now, and to record that information. And people who are going to be watching this will be watching it on a software that's been instructed, play the video that we are currently recording right now. So yeah, software is basically giving computers instructions to do things for us that makes things much easier than if we had to do them on our own.
Yeah, that is amazing. So you have coded 6 apps, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So tell me about them. Pick your top 3, your proudest top 3, and tell me about it and how you got to code and how they work.
All right. I'll start with one of my best experiences I've had, and it was coding a software called Systify. So Systify was basically a food delivery platform for the campus community at the University of Cape Town. I had horrible experiences waiting in long queues during lunchtime. And I always wondered why nobody built like an Uber Eats for campus so that I no longer needed to wait in the queues. But nobody did it. And then after a while, I thought, hey, why don't I do it? So I did some research and found that many other people had the same issue. So that's when I decided to build a food delivery app that would work on campus. That's what we did in 2019. Well, we started off in 2018. Actually, we started off in 2019 and we launched it in late 2019. Made a lot of mistakes, so we had to shut it down. There were a lot of bugs and stuff like that. But after that, we relaunched it again in February 2020, and we operated for like 3 weeks before the university had to close down. Yes. But it was such a way for my next company, which is Zaio. Having had experience building a food delivery app, I was able to launch a food delivery company or food delivery software company that allowed other entrepreneurs to launch their own food delivery business, just like I did. So yeah, that was my next company called Zaio. And with Zaio, during the hard lockdown, a lot of people, especially restaurants, were impacted. They were not able to reach their customers because many people weren't traveling to restaurants. A lot of entrepreneurs wanted to build or sort of launch a food delivery service in the community because companies like Uber Eats and Mr. D, they don't operate in many areas. They only operate in the largest cities. But the problem is the technology is expensive. If you want a food delivery app, it's very expensive.
Yes.
So a lot of people were unable to realize their dreams of launching their food delivery business. So what I did was I created the software that allowed them to create their own food delivery app without any code in just a few seconds. And all they had to do was find the restaurants, add their products, and find the customers, and they were able to launch and have the whole experience. So my experience with Justify led me to build Zero, which is currently operating as we speak.
Oh, okay. That is very remarkable. It is, I had the privilege of personally experiencing this, and how it launched. And it was amazing because, we don't have Uber Eats in the township. And sometimes you don't just want, McDonald's delivered to you. Sometimes you want to order a quarter. And Basheer made it very possible for people to deliver, things like slap chips, things that we love in the township and things that we love in the, less advantaged areas. So it was a very amazing platform, and it is there. So you can go on the Vera platform to see if it's available in your country. So back to you, Bash. Let's talk about you on a personal level. You have grown as a developer. You have grown from, just coding something on Bubble and how it was something small to now coding, something great. How has coding changed you on a personal level? How has it made you more confident? How has it grown you as an entrepreneur?
Thank you for that, Chantell.
Yeah.
Coding definitely changed a lot. It changed a lot. It was a game changer. To start off with, when I was younger, I was always an admirer of tech, but it was never something that I thought I could go into. It was just something I liked. Whenever I had like an allowance or something, I'd always just spend it on like tech gadgets. So I'd buy things like power banks, solar chargers, and other things I found interesting instead of buying like clothes and food and stuff. So it was always something I was interested in. Even like I said, back at university when I was in those long queues and I thought, why doesn't someone solve this problem for me? I asked that question because I didn't think it was something I could do on my own. But once I started learning about this stuff, I realized that actually anyone can learn this. It's not that complicated. And once you learn it, there's so much you can do. The sky is the limit. In fact, you can go beyond the sky and solve local, national, and even global problems with that knowledge. So it has changed a lot. From in terms of a problem solving perspective, I was able to solve a lot of challenges faced within my university, in my community, and I'm still trying to solve problems in the country. But also from a financial point of view, I've been able to build apps for different people and get paid for that. So I've financially benefited as well. And I've also been able to teach this knowledge, try to influence the next generation of developers so that they too can learn and then help to build solutions that will change the world.
Okay. I love what you said when you said when you learn how to code, you realize that anybody could do it. It wasn't that complicated. So now there's someone, because we are Zaio and we teach people how to code for only 200 a month. It's not that much. But there's someone who, even though it's so cheap and so affordable, they like, I don't know if I should code. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if it's worth it. What do you have to say to them?
All right, what I have to say to them is that the challenge is that everyone is kind of doing their own things out there, and it's not a structured curriculum. So navigating that is complicated. You might start with a video that's meant for intermediate people or advanced people, and you just get confused. And I think that's one of the reasons why many people just give up when they start. They start learning, and then it's so complicated to navigate. They give up. When you look at what Zaio does, it makes sense because firstly, it's a structured program, and on top of that, you have like skilled people who help you with it, and it's also, even though you're paying money, it's very affordable, and you're kind of paying for the time you save in terms of navigating and finding the right resources. You're paying for the excellent mentors you get, and you pay for the fact that within such a short time, you can start coding and building your own solutions, which I think is a game changer.
It's amazing. So there you heard it from Bash. She's very familiar with our platform. It's easy, if you try to learn coding by yourself, it is a bit challenging, but we structure it and we have 24-hour tutors, which means anytime that you're up, if you're up at 3 o'clock coding and you get stuck, you can easily access, our tutors. So I have a little game for us. It's called Myth or Fact. So there are a lot of there's a lot of myths around coding where people are like, oh, I don't want to learn how to code because of this. But usually it's not true. So one, you need to be a genius to learn how to code. Myth or fact?
I say that's a myth. It's not like, isn't the word like you need to be a genius to code. It's just like a skill that you can learn. Firstly, you're not born with it, and secondly, anyone can do it. It's just a matter of applying yourself and learning it. So no, I don't think you need to be a genius to learn how to code.
You need a coding degree or computer science degree or IT degree to be able to learn how to code. Myth or fact?
That's the biggest myth of them all. I mean, most there are so many developers who learn on their own or learn through programs like Zaio.
Mm-hmm.
and university. I mean, even myself, I don't have an academic background in coding. My
Mm-hmm.
background is in accounting, but I'm so deeply invested in tech that I was able to learn how to code. So
Mm-hmm.
no.
Okay, so this one is very controversial, but it's among developers. Some programming languages are better than others. Myth or fact?
Okay, that's a part myth, and I'll explain why I say that.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you mean by better than others, because when you look at programming languages, each one of them have certain benefits or compared to
Mm-hmm.
other ones, but they have certain downsides to them as well compared to other languages.
Yes.
So when you look at what language you want to use, you're really going to want to think about what you're trying to achieve. And
Mm.
based on what you're trying to achieve, you decide on which is the most ideal language to use. There's
Mm.
some languages where when you type in the code, it takes you write a lot to accomplish a small task,
Mm-hmm.
but they have certain benefits like it allows you to be able to access certain functionalities quicker than with other languages. And
Mm.
there's other languages where you type things like if you create a functionality, you write a few lines of code, but you need to understand a lot in order to get there.
Yes.
There's when you think of a language like JavaScript,
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript has the native JavaScript, which is the basic language,
Mm-hmm.
and then it has many, many, many different frameworks like Node, React, Angular, Vue, etc.
Yes.
And navigating that whole frameworks is very challenging, especially for a beginner. You don't know where to start.
Mm.
When you look at Java, it's straightforward. It's Java. You go and you learn Java and you
Oh.
code Java. There's nothing complicated about navigating the language itself.
Mm.
Also, if you look at a language like a framework like Flutter,
Mm-hmm.
the language is very easy to use, and Flutter lets you build Android and iOS applications using one code base, which is very efficient.
Oh. Oh.
But at
Wow.
the same time, it's a very new language. A new framework. Google developed it for the internal use, but now they made it public. So this
Mm.
community is still growing. So some people are reluctant to take it on because it might be shut down and they don't want to risk it. So each language
Oh.
has its up and downs. You just choose based on your situation and what you want to achieve.
Okay, definitely pod myth after hearing that. So, is it true that coding is boring? Because people were like, I don't want to learn how to code because I don't want to work a dead end job where I'm isolated and I'm just staring at my screen and I'm depressed. Is it true that it's boring as a subject and it's boring as a career path?
Definitely not boring. But you see, it depends on your personality type. You need to know yourself and whether that's the type of thing you want to do. But
Mm.
coding is more than just typing on your keyboard and typing code or writing out code. It's a lot more
Mm.
than that. It's
Mm.
very logical. You need to think a lot. You need to draw up mind maps and diagrams. You need to plan a lot. So
Mm.
it keeps you active. It keeps you engaged. You make a lot of mistakes. You find a lot of errors, and then you have to find them and stuff like that. You do a lot of research. So it's not as straightforward as just opening a laptop, sitting in a
Mm.
room, and start typing out. It's a lot
Mm.
more than that, and that makes it fun. It
Oh.
can also be challenging at times when you're trying to figure things out, but you're experiencing challenges. But there's such a strong community, like developer community. There's people you can reach out to ask for help. There's an amazing thing called Stack Overflow. For every
Mm-hmm.
issue you have, hundreds of other people have had it and they ask questions about it on Stack Overflow. So you can go there and find the answer for whatever you need.
Mm.
So yeah, it's fun, but
It's
again, it depends on personality and whether you like that kind of thing.
okay. That is amazing because this is the biggest myth. People were like, I don't want to code, even when they know they can't do it. They don't want to do it because they think they're going to be depressed and work a dead end job. But
Mm.
now, you get to know that you get to do a lot of different things. So,
Yeah.
final question that I have for you. It's an open-ended question. Now we're coding. We are relying more on the tech information and we're relying more on robots to do things. I don't want to say robots, but you know what I mean. We rely on our phones, we rely on our laptops, and we rely on a lot of tech. Do you think there will be a robot uprising? It's just a fun question for you to think about.
Robot uprising. No, I don't think there'll be a robot uprising. I think people are too freaked out about the whole tech thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain why I think that just now, but I just want to say that like tech AI and automation is definitely going to replace a lot of jobs and make them redundant. I mean, that's
Yes.
how we move on the path of efficiency.
Mm.
We just need to we shouldn't hate tech for that. It's
Yes.
meant to happen. We need to look at how we can reskill ourselves and
Mm.
adapt to working in this new economy. And obviously, having a job in tech makes you relatively safer because tech needs to the tech people are the ones who are going to be in control in a way. Not in control as in manipulating, but in control as in there'll always be the need for tech roles and tech jobs.
Okay.
And back to why I think there won't be a robot uprising. It's because people say this because they don't really understand AI. When we build these robots, we obviously have to make sure we build them in a way that we still have ultimate control. And they while they have free will, there will be a lot of fail safes and things we can do to prevent certain things. Like we can block certain actions from occurring, that kind of thing. I believe that kind of tech will be built in the future. If we can build a machine that can think for itself, we can definitely build protection mechanisms within that machine to ensure that it doesn't go against what we want it to do. And I mean, research is being conducted globally to try to look into things like that. So it's not something you should be worried about.
Okay, that is amazing. So this is Bash, everyone. He is truly remarkable, and we've heard a lot from him, and I hope you've learned a lot from him. So remember, Zaio is launching. You need to register to avoid disappointment. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have amazing lecturers, amazing tutors, a great support system, and we're gonna teach you how to code. So don't forget to sign up, go on our website and our social media platforms, and this is where you're going to get more information about Zaio. From me, thank you very much for joining us. Bash, anything else from you?
Thank you so much for listening to this conversation, and really think about whether you about joining Zaio, because it's going to change your life as well. Definitely.
Yeah, and you heard it from Bash. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Bash.